Another winning night and another two bets we cashed in the NHL. Three more coming at you for Thursday. Let's get to it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to a Thursday edition of The Squeeze. I am Tyler Connie. It was another winning night. It was another great night betting the NHL and a little bit of NBA. Let's flick on the bet recap if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening, I apologize, but I'll go through it quickly. We had the Colorado Avalanche on the money line. Cash that. We had the Canucks and the Kings to go under 6. Remember, that was boosted and an alt line, but they actually did go under regardless. It was 5, so you can cash that. And then if you're following me on my socials or on the BettingPros app, where you get all these picks for free, we also added Nathan MacKinnon to score a goal. He scored 2, but we had him to score 1. That was plus 135. We cashed that. DeMar DeRozan over 24.5 points and assists. We got that from both Fast Break Bets and the Daily Juice on BettingPros. We cashed that. Colby White. The graphic's a bit wrong. I didn't bet 5 units. I bet 0.5 units, but we did cash a Colby White under there thanks to the Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet. The only one we got wrong on the entire day was the Jets and the Senators to go over. That fell at 5, and we had it to go over 5.5. So that was close, but no cigar. But overall, very good day. Up over 2.5 units. And again, if you want to get these picks that I don't talk about in the video, follow me across my socials and Betting Pros. It's all linked in the description below where you can fade or follow all my picks for free. Don't charge for any of that. So let's get into today. 3 more picks in the NHL. It's a busy day in the NHL. I like these picks, which could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. Let's start with Boston. We've got the New York Islanders at the Boston Bruins, and we've got the Boston Bruins plus 100. They're even money. New York's the favorite, even though this game is being played in Boston. The last 10 times these two teams have met, Boston is 7-3. The last time they played, which was last month, the Islanders did win the game 5-4 in overtime, but I'm just confused why Boston would be the underdog here. I know they've got a couple of injuries. Obviously, McAvoy is out. He got hurt at the Four Nations Cup. However, Boston's coming off back-to-back overtime losses. They were leading 3-0 against the Toronto Maple Leafs a couple nights ago, ended up losing that game 5-4 in overtime. They also lost to Anaheim 3-2 in overtime previous to that. Then you date back to before the Four Nations, Boston's actually lost 4 games in a row. Despite that fact, they're still sitting 6th in the Atlantic, and they're still looking at a playoff spot. And I can't imagine they're going to lose 5 straight games, and I can't imagine they're going to lose to the New York Islanders. This seems like a prime, perfect bounce-back spot. Brad Marchand said after the game against Toronto, if we play like that every night, we're going to win a lot of games. We can't give up points, and we gave one away. So the Bruins still had 36 shots against Toronto. They had power play goals against Toronto. They actually played a really good game. Toronto's just, as a Leafs fan, they're, 3rd or 4th in the entire NHL right now, so that's nothing to sneeze at. And then when you look at the New York Islanders, because we just bet on them the other night, they've lost 4 straight games themselves. They lost to Winnipeg, Minnesota before the break. Coming out of the break, they've lost to Dallas and the Rangers. Boston's not the team to get right against, especially when they're a team that needs to get right themselves. You know what I mean? They're a team, they need to start piling up wins, back-to-back losses in overtime, especially losing to Toronto. It's a bit of a heartbreaker. Marchand this time losing to Austin Matthews. We've got plus money or even money. Give me the Boston Bruins straight up on the money line. That is plus 100. Now, this one is not plus 100. This one is minus 130. But I'm going to go with the Vancouver Canucks here on the money line on the road against the Anaheim Ducks. I know that Vancouver did play last night. I don't often like betting on a team that played the night before in the second half of a back-to-back, but it's the Vancouver Canucks and it's the Anaheim Ducks. Vancouver is sitting at 27-20-11. The Ducks are 25-25-7. Ducks probably are not going to be making the playoffs. Last 10 meetings between these two teams dating back 3 years, Vancouver is 9-1, and they've won 8 straight. They've played once this season. It was a 5-1 win for the Vancouver Canucks, and the Canucks are playing well. They're 6-3-1 over their last 10 games, and they just beat the LA Kings last night 3-2 in overtime. And then probably the biggest thing for them is getting back Quinn Hughes, who had missed some time. He's back for the Vancouver Canucks. And Coach Rick Tocchet actually said one of the biggest things is having him back in practice. The team just needs to be practicing harder, practicing better. And the nice thing about hockey is you're not worrying about this NBA thing where a player comes back from injury and is he going to play on the second half of a back-to-back? He played last night. Is he going to play tonight? Hockey players just play. He's going to play, barring anything happening coming out of that game, which is not suspected. I suspect that Quinn Hughes is going to be back in that lineup for the Vancouver Canucks. And you look at the Anaheim Ducks. They played 2 nights ago. They lost to Buffalo. They lost to Detroit. They're actually 7-2-1 over their last 10 hockey games. But at home this season, they're just .500. Vancouver is 16-10-4 on the road. They're a good, solid road team. And they're playing well. They've got the better goaltending. They've got the better offense. They've got the better power play. So I know it's a little bit juicy. I was contemplating taking Vancouver to win in 60 minutes, which is around -110. But then I had to remind myself, why risk it? Like, pay the juice. And, I did 1.2 units, I'm not betting a full 1.3, a little bit less there to win back close to a full unit. I've stopped when the spreads in basketball are low, like under 3 points or 3.5, just pay for the money line because teams aren't trying to win by a spread. They're not necessarily trying to win in regulation. They're just trying to win the hockey game. So I would rather be on the side of the players in that than just sort of the betting analogy. So I'll pay the -130. Give me the Canucks on the money line. And then probably the game of the night. We've got the Edmonton Oilers at the Florida Panthers, and I'm taking the Florida Panthers on this one. When it comes to betting, I'm a guy that usually likes to look at a trend and then see where I can buck that trend. Meaning, if a team has lost 4 or 5 straight games and they're a good hockey team, well, they're going to win eventually. So where's the perfect situation to buck that trend? I'm not doing that tonight. The Edmonton Oilers have lost 4 straight hockey games, 3 of which since the Four Nations, with Connor McDavid, with Leon Draisaitl, who obviously wasn't in the Four Nations, but after a big tournament for McDavid, some time off for Draisaitl, they come out of the break. They lost 6-3 to Philadelphia, 7-3 to Washington, and 4-1 to Tampa Bay. All of those games were on the road. They are still on the road now in Florida. And Florida's, as I just mentioned, Florida's not a team to get right against. They are second in the Atlantic. They're 35-21-3. They're 17-10 at home. And they are 7-3 in their last 10 hockey games. They played a couple of nights ago, beating Nashville 4-1. They've beat Ottawa 5-1. They've beat some decent hockey teams. And they're themselves a very good hockey team. So for Edmonton, is this the time that you think, okay, we need a big win, this is the game? If this was against a Chicago or a San Jose or an Anaheim, maybe. This is the Florida Panthers. This is a rematch of the Stanley Cup final. It's being played in Florida. This is not the game. The Edmonton Oilers could very well win. This is essentially between -105 and -110 on either side. So either way you go here, I could see. Of course, I could see the Edmonton Oilers winning this game, but I'm not going against this trend just with all the other things going along with it. It's the Florida Panthers. They're at home. It's a rematch. I know Florida won the Stanley Cup, so you can look at it that way, that maybe this is the time. And if what I'm saying makes you think, no, I'm betting on the Oilers, that's fine. But I'm going to take the Florida Panthers at this one for -108. So those are my 3 bets in the NHL today. Give me the Boston Bruins for even money on the money line. Give me the Vancouver Canucks on the money line for -130. And give me the Florida Panthers also on the money line for +130. One thing I wanted to do for you guys is see, going to start seeing what the odds would be if you parlayed all these together. So if you took the Florida Panthers, the Boston Bruins, and the Vancouver Canucks on the money line parlay, if you wanted to, it's a +538 parlay. Now, I don't recommend it. Chances that I sweep the board are certainly not guaranteed by any means. But if you did want to parlay all 3 of these picks, it's a +538. So have a great day. Follow me on the socials, linked in the description below. Audio versions are available on Spotify and on Apple. Have a great Thursday. Let's talk sports.